I mean, I'm entering my unk phase, and you were always my unk. You know, like, I mean, since I've been literally since I was 16, every time I saw you, you've always been so open and welcoming, and just always giving me cool, like, also father advice, dad, like life advice this whole way. And it's like I always use that as a way to mirror myself to younger artists, right? And it's not like taking artists in or like it's just like, hey, I see you're a good kid. Let me give you a little taste of like what I've learned along the way, you know? And I think it's so important for artists of different generations to talk to each other, you know? And for kids to be able to hear like, okay, there's a lot more of this, because so many people are in this just running blind, you know, and they're not really investigating in the craft. They're just seeing kind of in front of them, or seeing side to side of their peers, without really going so deep into this culture that we've built for all these years. You know, there's many different generations before, and that was kind of part of why I wanted to have you on here, to just kind of give some of this great, the world of an Acquaviva-isms, or like, you know, like,
so okay, let me put it in a really cheesy way. I'm too cheap to afford a bodyguard, so why would I ever screw anybody? You know, it takes about the same amount of money to be nice to someone and say a nice word, instead of have someone waiting for you outside a club going, "You mofo, how dare you insult, you know, look at my girl," or look at, you know, like, look, yeah, you know, I keep that stuff to myself. But can you say something nice to people and avoid a fight? Or, you know, it's
cool to be kind.
Remember, it's cool to be kind, Nick Lowe. I mean, there you go. You can look. I mean, there you go. I'm just showing my Rain Man-isms. Okay, I'll be honest. There was another part of me in the 80s, until I got schooled in the humility of accept success if it comes out of Detroit, and I see the downfall of, you know, some other people. I thought I was like, you know, the best DJ I ever heard, smartest guy I ever met, and then I started traveling the world. And then I met Rich. It's like, wow, this guy's more motivated than me. And I met, you know, Kevin, who's like top of the world, and he's like family man. I'm like, wow, there is a chance to be all of the above. Eric was precocious, our older brother. I think we're the same age. But, you know, already Detroit gave me more than Toronto ever did on my first 2 meetings. You know, Kevin's like, I can have a family. And then I learned the story of Neil Rushton. And I did my own version of it, respecting Detroit. But moving on, when, you know, us Canadian guys, like, we settled for the world. We quickly had our second logo. London, Ontario. Yeah. Windsor, not Windsor Castle. Rotterdam, Speedy J. Tokyo, luckily Kenichi had joined at the time. But it was a global thing. We just want to be part of the global community. And Detroit, and we had Kenny. And it's just good. And we just name-check the cities that were part of our family.
It's so great that you're talking about these friendships, right? Because, I mean, obviously the show Flirting with Friendships. But I often tell a lot of the younger kids, right? If you want to take your movement or whatever you're doing, like, you know, it's not about trying. I mean, it is also partially about trying to look at the bigger guys. You know, when I was younger, I had like kind of plans. I'm going to sign with these guys, sign with Rich, sign with all these different people. Matt Johnson, because you want to be in an area of the kind of contemporaries, right? You want to be viewed in a certain way. But I also tell the kids, it's so important, look next to you, because all the people that you need and everything is already there, right? It's about you guys creating your own thing and looking at, you know, all these other little artists around you teaming together and talking to each other, right? And that's how these great movements happen. When people ask me about how Jamie and I and all this, like, we were just hanging out with each other. And it was like, yeah, it was just a bunch of cool artists coming up with ideas, making music, bouncing the ideas back and forth to each other. Like, for example, I was just playing at Sunwaves, and they're like, this whole Sunwaves, you know, Romanian community with the music, all this. And like, I didn't find out till recently, but there's a Telegram that they have amongst each other where they send each other the music and nonstop. So they're like, how do you get this music? And it's like,
yeah.
Well,
we used to do that with Skype.
Yeah.
And we had, I remember back years ago, people would ask me, like, what's your advice to become like a DJ successful? And I always said, have a crew of like-minded friends that you hang out with and inspire each other musically. I had that from a young age in New York.
We have that.
We had that moving to Berlin together. We still have it. Yeah. We inspire each other musically and creatively, and that can get you further than doing it. You're not going to do it on your own.